I think that Carolina is doing their best job of being able to mesh together, and Dallas is doing their best job to fall apart. The Arizona one, I would say that that's probably going to be a. So the Carolina Panthers are coming off an emotional win against the New York Giants in Munich, Germany. I say emotional because it was a walk-off win at the end of the game in overtime. Eddie Pinero kicks the field goal, takes us into the bye week with a huge win against the Giants, a team that coming in had a ton of sacks, right? And our offensive line was able to only give up one sack on a really busted play-action play. But the point is that we've got this great opportunity ahead of us. We've got the rest of the year, the rest of the schedule, right? It's a whole new season for us, essentially. You've got some developing pieces on offense between Bryce and the receivers. You got DJ Wanham back on defense, and you're starting to see things kind of come together. So I wanted to look at this remaining schedule just to see what this could look like moving forward as far as our wins and losses are concerned. Now, so we got the New York Giants out of the way, and we're at the bye. Next is coming up, Kansas City. Now, they may not say it, but Kansas City is definitely chasing that record. To be able to win 3 straight Super Bowls and to have an undefeated season is something that would just be a feat that, I don't think would ever be repeated again, right? So I'm not saying that they'll press. Now, obviously, I think it's going to be a loss for us, right? Because they're still the Chiefs. But I do think there's some significance to the fact that they've not scored 30 points in a single game this year, and also that they came off of a very close, win against the Denver Broncos. Now, we got smoked by the Broncos, but I would say if you lined up the team that beat the Giants against this Carolina Panther team that beat the Giants against the Denver Broncos, it probably wouldn't culminate in a win, but it'd be far more competitive than it was because you got Bryce coming back his first start. We still don't have Wanham at that point, and there's still some development happening between these young receivers and them learning, their routes and things like that. And Bryce kind of getting more comfortable with the offense, in his absence from before and, coming back into the fold. So I think it would be a lot different outcome. Now, does it mean that we'll win again? No, I don't think so. But I do think that it would be a much more formidable opponent that they would face, the Denver Broncos, in us, right? So I'd like to be a homer and say hypothetically that, man, them coming into the bank, it's going to be high emotion. We're going to want to be the team like they play Buffalo Sunday. We're going to want to be the team that knocks them off. And I'm recording this video before Sunday, so I don't know the result of the Buffalo game yet. So I would hope that we're the team that knocks them off. But, even if they lose to Buffalo, coming to us with one loss being 9-1 would still be formidable if we could, put a win on the, or a loss on their column as well. So I'm going to just say flat out, though, it's probably going to be a loss, right? Their defense is ridiculous. Our offensive line is ridiculous. So, man, I'm trying not to be a homer here. I don't want to be that guy. But I'm going to say loss. So then that takes us to Tampa. I think we're going to split with Tampa this year. I think the one that we'll split is coming off of either the win or loss at the bank. I think we win this first one. I think Tampa comes in, the emotion is still going to be high, especially if we lose to the Chiefs but lose close. I definitely think we win this game. So I'm going to chuck that one up to a W. That takes us to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's going to be a tough out, right? I'm going to give a loss there because beating them in Philly is going to be extremely difficult, right? They're starting to hit their tempo at the right time. They're getting, more healthy. Saquon Barkley is ridiculous. He and Chuba Hubbard, very common out. Well, obviously they're 2 different running backs, but as far as their production this year, very common. Both top 10 backs in the league, right? And then that brings us to the Cowboys at home. I'll be joined by, one of my homeboys that runs the Angry Cowboys channel on YouTube. Y'all check him out. I think we're going to beat them. I really do. I don't see the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are at this point going to be trying to be in the Shador/Cam Ward sweepstakes, even though they're probably not going to draft him because of Dak, right? However, if you're in the position to do so, I'm not saying you can't just cut Dak, right? But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If nothing else, it puts them in a position to draft, a really high value pick, say Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, someone that can help their defense, whether, he's going to play corner or not, who knows? But at least you put yourself in a position to have an opportunity, to draft someone up there or to move back. But I think that Carolina is doing their best job of being able to mesh together, and Dallas is doing their best job to fall apart, right? And it starts at the top with them. So that's a loss. The Cardinals at home, I think that's going to be another loss for us. Oh, excuse me, the Dallas one's a win. I'm sorry, I said loss. That's a win for us. The Dallas one, Arizona, I'm all over the place. Excuse me, I'm kind of sick today. But the Arizona one, I would say that that's probably going to be a loss. Arizona is playing really good football. They're probably going to win their division. That's probably going to be a loss for us. And then that brings us to Tampa in Tampa. I think that's the one, like I said, we split, but it's possible. So on this one, I'm going to go coin flip. I'm not saying we're going to sweep Tampa. I do think we're going to split with them. But I think Tampa is vulnerable because I do believe that Tampa is flirting with the idea that Todd Bowles is not their guy moving forward, which I think would be crazy. But maybe there are even questions about Baker Mayfield. They've got a lot of injuries. Who knows if they're going to be any more healthy at that point? So is it possible that we could sweep Tampa on the season? Yes, but it would take a lot of effort from us to do so, a lot of cohesion. So I'm going to say that one's a coin flip. And then that brings us to Atlanta. That's going to be a tough one. I'm looking forward to it. Personally, there's never been a time that I ever wanted to lose to Atlanta. Shout out to my boy B Free. He knows. But I definitely think we can beat Atlanta in Atlanta. And I think that there's going to be really high stakes there. With the losses that I just mentioned on the schedule already, there's no chance we're making the playoffs. But can we be a home wrecker? Absolutely. Can we be someone that would knock them from, let's say they're going to win the division, but losing to us would seed them different in the playoffs to a team that they don't want to see. Say that team is Philadelphia, right? Or Minnesota. You know, a team like there might be a better matchup for them, and then we come in and play seed changer, and then here you go. They're out of the playoffs, one and done. So nothing would bring me more joy. But I don't know. I was just thinking, there's a lot of momentum here. I mean, we could come out and just, go flat, lose everything. I don't see that happening. Or we could come out and win more games than I'm even projecting. I would hope that happens. But let me know what you think below. The schedule looks, pretty aggressive, moving forward. But I'm optimistic. I'm seeing a lot of things that show that the Carolina Panthers are definitely moving in the right direction. Make sure to comment, subscribe, like this video, and share it if you can. This is John from the One Carolina Show. Keep pounding.